Hey everybody, Nightmare Kelp Tree back. Today I'm going to be going over what I believe will be the start of a new series on this channel. I listen to a lot of discographies of artists, and some artists that I love and listen to over and over for years, like at least every album at least twice through. So this video, it will be the start of a new series in the channel I'm going to call Discography Dissection, where I will cover maybe one or two albums by an artist starting out. And then I'll slowly start going through the backlog of that artist's albums, like every album they have out to this point. And I feel like this will kind of burn through a lot of videos in between my Friday wrap-ups, because I really get fixated on an artist for a while, just listen to everything they have, whether it be from the most recent album or just because I really started focusing on them recently. And then, you know, kind of after I hear all their albums, I'll be like, okay, it's time to move on to the next thing or the next new albums I'm kind of looking out for. So today, if you already seen from the title, our discography dissection is going to be over JPEGMAFIA's discography. Going back from, I've already covered his most recent album on the channel. If you want to look at it, I lay my life down for you. That will be in the probably on the channel, but I'll try to see if I can link it to the recommendations on this video and kind of include a clip of it up here. We're going to be going over his 2023 album, Scaring the Hose, starting with the deluxe songs that dropped most recently. Scaring the Hose, the DLC edition. If you don't know, video game speak or video game lingo online, DLC will mean downloadable content. I know if you're watching this online right now, you probably know about it, but just for the people who don't, I don't mind explaining out some simple terms like this. Downloadable content is content for a video game or a thing, usually video game thing online, that is extra content after the original releases came out, which makes sense because this is 4 extra songs that came out about 4 or 5 months after the original album came out in July 11, 2023. So last year, as I've recorded this. It was a pretty good EP drop, I'd say. The cover art and the product is Scaring the Hose vape. I'll put it up on the screen here for you. I thought it was a pretty cool idea to kind of tie in a simple nicotine. I don't know if it came with cannabis vapes, but I'm pretty sure it's nicotine vapes type product. And I know JPEGMAFIA's wrapped up vaping a few times to cut with mental health and personal health issues, which I'm like, girl, same. I used to have a weed vape in my car for really bad anxiety days. I'll be honest that today hasn't been one of the best days for me in a while. I just had a rough start of it, but also why I went to kind of make this project today was also making the videos really been good for my mental health and good projects that I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I do, but I do. So thanks for the engagement on these videos. Thanks for all the love and thanks for sticking around. All the viewers I have so far, I'm close to 50 subscribers. So if I haven't said it so far, if you're watching this video and you've been liking the content, share it with one person in your life that you know might be interested in the same type of content you like, and we'll get up to 50 subscribers in this month or so. I feel like if I keep dropping videos, we'll slowly get there anyways, so good to see y'all stick around. Anyways, going back to Scaring the Hose DLC pack, starting with the first song, Guess What Bitch, We Back Ho. This was a great song. I like the flow of it. My only complaint on it is I don't like JPEGMAFIA's use of the R word, the R slur for disabled people. I feel like it's something that's kind of antiquated and outdated at this point. I feel like I've heard it a lot growing up, either said towards me or other people just as a slur, even if it wasn't meant for a person who actually is disabled. So his use of it here, I'm like, I wouldn't do it myself, but you know, I don't like the music. His music itself has been good enough over the years where I can trade off on things I personally disagree with or don't like, but I can still talk about it here. I have a channel to do that, and I have the freedom to do that, so I'm going to do that. That I feel like it's not really needed. You know, we can kind of move past those type of terms, and any people that comment like, oh, PC police, you're too woke to deal with things like this. Just understand that what I personally want and desire out of albums might not always match what you personally want or desire, whether it be the content. But I will say the beat on the song is incredible. How both him and Danny Brown flow in the song is incredible. And I love even if it has its own type of slurs in it, I do love the chorus of Danny Brown's nasally voice. Guess what, bitch? We back ho. We ain't even left you sound good. I think that's an amazing good flow and chorus to start out this little EP. And that was basically my other comments on here. I like the Sandy Cheeks SpongeBob's sample intro and outro. Great beat from front to back. Yeah. My 3 favorites on this EP, though, are all the next 3 upcoming on the EP. Hermanos, Tell Me Where to Go, and No. Starting with Hermanos? I might edit in how you pronounce that, like from the wiki or something. My comments on this one were that it was simple but great. Beats and flows were incredible. The last minute goes so hard with that beat change and really like boost. Like I can't tell if it's I'm pretty sure it's like a Latin American song sample, and that's something for both this album and the Chorus Scaring the Hose album that I really liked. I don't think his newest album, I Lay Down My Life For You, had a lot of really heavy samples in it. A few I could identify off the first few listens, but not a lot of really heavy, blatant samples like this project did. And I actually like it on this project because he really manipulates them in a way where I'm like, damn, you have fundamentally changed this beat into something just a hard rap beat, bass heavy, riding out in my car and riding down the street with my windows down type beat in this last minute Hermanos. It's incredible. Track number 3, Tell Me Where to Go. One of the most somber songs on this EP and on Scaring the Hose album, if you include them both together like as one deluxe album. I might eventually make a playlist of that and share it around on my Twitter or anything. But Danny Brown's natural somber voice comes through. Very serious, introspective song. I love all this, like the bits in between it, where like Danny Brown's whole verse in the first part is very much about his introspective about Tell Me Where I Go Now that I'm getting older. And his most recent album was Quarantera. It's about him turning 40. So he's kind of getting older and he's kind of assessing over where he goes from here. JPEGMAFIA's verse at the end is kind of him talking about one of his exes and kind of processing like the trauma him and both his current partner have gone through with their exes, and talking about how they move on from that, how they cope with where they're at in life, and for certain things that happen to them, things like that. Which I really love introspective songs. I feel like you'll learn this about me throughout my coverage of albums and EPs and singles through this channel, like whatever music cover on this channel in the future. I really like when artists get introspective and talk about like things that are really core to them as a person and really humanize them. I feel like that's why, even though I didn't like the album in full, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind by Logic, the song at least, really stuck with me as a single when it first dropped. And like, wow, he's really getting like into the depths of like what truly haunt him and like get him about social media and being a public figure going to this album. And while the album itself wasn't great, and a little bit of a side tangent here about Logic, that song was incredible. So I highly suggest Confessions of a Dangerous Mind by Logic if you want another introspective rap song that really hits the core of this rapper's feelings and that time of life. It's a great snapshot of their feelings in the time they made that song. The final and 4th song on this EP before we get into the core album of Scaring the Hose is No. And I'm pretty sure there's maybe 1 or 2 more no's in there. Easily the longest song on this EP. It's a little over 5 minutes, but I do like it. I like how one of the first 30 seconds or 40 seconds or so, JPEGMAFIA indirectly references the Baby Keem Kendrick Lamar duo collab thing. I'll kind of throw some lyrics up here where he's mentioning I ain't Baby Keem, my cousin ain't gave me shit, which I'm like, fucking go off. I kind of agree that I'm like, I like Baby Keem personally and some of his highlights, not all the stuff, and I don't like Die For My Bitch. I like the album he did after that. I might throw it up here as well because I can't remember the name of it, but I like that album. So, you know, I'm starting to get on the Baby Keem train, but I do agree that I don't think Baby Keem would have got as far as he did without Kendrick. Especially with how much influence Baby Keem I felt had on Kendrick Lamar's most recent album, Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers. I've seen some people online claim it's just like a Baby Keem album in like how it feels and how he's like, it's like, oh, Kendrick's like adapting Baby Keem's flow and his style. I disagree with that. I feel like this most recent Kendrick album is still like core Kendrick to what he would normally do. Just, you know, kind of adapting more of those younger styles, which, you know, with Damn is a hit or miss for me sometimes. But getting back into No, the outro of Scaring the Hose, the DLC edition. Longest song on the CP, but pretty good, pretty great little outro. Danny Brown does the best on this song to me than JPEGMAFIA, which is surprising to hear from. You'll hear that on a few of these songs as we go on to the core album, that I feel like Danny Brown kind of takes over the song a little bit and how he flows and really how he delivers versus how JPEG's delivering. They equally match each other in the energy they bring, so I think the pairing is perfect. I really hope to do some more things together in the future. If they don't, after here, you know, we've been given enough material now. We've been given 17 songs where it'll last us a good few years. But I really hope they team up again in the future because it's a really powerhouse duo we got here. My only holdup with this song on revisits is that the last minute 40 of the song is just an a cappella Danny Brown outro where he's kind of talking over like, we used to be eating egg rolls. Now we got money in our bedrolls. And like, he is funny, and I really like his voice. But on revisits after like third, fourth, fifth listen, I've listened to this album a good few times now, including the DLC pack. You know, I'm not always gonna finish it if it just have like an hour, not an hour, a minute 40 of just acapella rapping. I'm not always in the mood for that. But otherwise, great EP. I would give this EP in total 8 out of 10. I would say the genre for both this EP and the main album is rap, electronic, experimental noise in some ways. I think a lot of JPEGMAFIA has always been like a bit noisy and a bit more out there than other rappers. And that's what I really like. I feel like for both the EP and the main album we're about to get into, he does a amazing job. And I don't think I talked about this on the newest album, I'll Lay Down My Life for You. But he does an incredible job in all his projects of flowing the songs together, which, as somebody who really focuses on production, I really hone in on that and really respect how you can make a cohesive project even with 4 songs. So I really respect that. I really love how he transitions songs into each other to make a natural flow throughout any project he does. I feel like no second is wasted on a JPEGMAFIA song. So next, we're going to be going into the start of Scaring the Hoes. Came out 2023, March 24th. This was one of my favorite albums of last year. I don't think I had made a channel by then, so I haven't really talked about it. But through this Discography Dissection series, we'll kind of go back and talk about some of my favorite albums I might not have covered that I wanted to get to, and this is a good excuse to get to. So one of the main lead singles going into Scaring the Hoes, the core album, was Lean Beef Patty. It was the opener's track. It was like a minute 40 or so. The title is in reference to a Instagram influencer, I'm pretty sure, that both JPEG and I think mainly Danny Brown had focused on, where it's like a very built kind of bodybuilder woman who has been online and kind of got shared around a good bit. And a lot of these references you'll see through a lot of JPEGMAFIA's music is very like a very hyper online approach to music and topics and lyrics, what he talks about. And I appreciate that because we are in the digital age and the internet age. You're probably watching this on the internet right now if you're watching this. I don't really see, I can't try to think of how you wouldn't. You are watching this on the internet if you're watching this right now. But it makes sense to like talk, and I heard some people complain about JPEGMAFIA in the past about how he talks about things that are online, like talking about using Twitter, rapping about like, say what you said on Twitter right now, on All My Heroes and Cornballs. And I disagree with the sentiment that you shouldn't rap or sing about what you do online or your activity online, because a lot of people, if you're like me, live your lives online. I do work online for customers through my job. Some of my friends I wouldn't know or be able to talk to anymore unless I talk to them online. So, the internet has really impacted how we are active day to day in our society. So I don't feel like I'm that far off to say it's okay to rap or sing about, online topics. But, it's funny how this song has aged though already within like the year or so it came out, a little over a year and a half it came out, because, one of the first lines in the song is, JPEGMAFIA coming in swinging with that really like hyper pop, sped up, fast sample beat where he's like, fuck Elon Musk, $8 for Twitter, bitch, that shit's expensive or something like that. And that's already aged where the price for Twitter Blue, I believe now, is like $11, $20 or something like that. Might throw a screenshot of that up on screen because I still use Twitter. But yeah, it's funny how fast that aged. Even the same year it came out, the price was already increasing by the time he wrote that lyric. Both of them flow incredibly over it. I think my only thing I'm saddened about is that this song is under 2 minutes long, and it's so good I just want more. I would take like a 10-minute version of this song. But it's like, I understand for the sped up kind of hyperpop nature of it why it's so short. A lot of hyperpop songs, if I ever cover more hyperpop on the channel in the future, you'll learn are very short songs. Which, by the way, let me know in the comments if you want me to cover more hyperpop or things in that nature. Like, I really love hyperpop, and I want to get kind of into eventually get into breaking down on my channel here, my favorite hyperpop albums and artists. But for now, we're gonna kind of go, continue on our my JPEGMAFIA binge, since I've kind of been hyper focused on it recently. The second song is not one of my favorites, but I still like it. Step a Pig. It's a little over 3 minutes. I really like the line in this one. It was like, Kai, when twitching you banned. And if you know the internet lore about Kai Cenat, he streamed on Twitch once. I don't know if he's still on Twitch now or got reestablished, but the first time he streamed on Twitch, he got banned for showing inappropriate content, I'm pretty sure, or saying something. I don't know the details in this. I might throw it up, an article of it, just to fact check myself. But yeah, I know the fact that he got banned on Twitch after the first time he tried to host it, which was really funny. So it was really fun to hear this on the album. I think the beat is the only thing holding me up on this one. I'm a big beat person, big production person. It just doesn't feel as strong as the first track. But the next 3 or 4 tracks really send me into a slew of tracks that are probably my favorite on the albums. Next to Lean Beef Patty, I'll go ahead and throw out my favorites now and then kind of talk it over as we go. My favorites overall on the core of Scaring the Hose are Lean Beef Patty, Scaring the Hose, the title track, Garbage Pail Kids, Fentanyl Tester, Kingdom Hearts Key, featuring Red Veil, and the outro where you get your coke from. As we'll go on through JPEGMAFIA's discography dissection, I kind of want to talk about how both his titles and his album covers really pivot to a specific type of audience. And I've even watched a few of his interviews where he talked about the titling of his songs, and how he's mentioned he's like, I kind of use my song track titles as a filter for my audience, to be like, if you don't like my titles and you don't like the way I present myself in my music, you're probably just not going to like me and my verses. And I think that's really respectable. I think having like more out there designs and art or title tracks or album names is a really respectful decision as an artist. And I think it's I like this both about him and about old like pop punk or screamo artists, that they'll title their tracks really long things or really intricate or weird things, because the identity of the track will stand out, even if, say, if it's a long title and you won't always be able to fully remember it or read it off to somebody. Like thinking about Panic! At the Disco's first album, Have a Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Even the album title there is really long, and there's really long track titles on it. They're just super dense track titles. I might throw it out there. But yeah, Step a Pig isn't my favorite. I know the reference to Peppa Pig here. It's kind of the clear reference there. Going in the next 3 tracks, though, so we're going to start with Scaring the Hose, the title track. I really love the horns on this one. It comes in really early. I really like kind of addressing the track and album title is in reference to the online like comments and memes about don't watch that movie, don't play that music, don't watch that show with the girls, you're scaring the hose. Like, you don't the core explanation of the meme to explain out the joke is that, like, you're like, oh, I have this weird music I'm really into, or this weird thing I'm really into, but if I play it around my girls, it's gonna scare them, I feel like my fiance currently doesn't like this track or album title, and I do respect the decision on that. She likes the album. I've shown her bits of the album over a few times. She likes it. I think it's just like for certain women and certain people, not even just women. I think like a title and a thing like Scaring the Hose feels like a just inherently misogynistic type title, because it's like, oh, you're calling women hoes, and you're like, you're focusing in it because it's the album and track title name. And I think I respect that. I like the meme when I saw it online, and the meme's wave's already kind of passed as of last year or two. But I do understand and agree with that sentiment that, if it doesn't set well with you, then I respect that. I like the track a lot. I really like the chorus. Stop scaring the hoes. Play that shit and make them touch the toes. You don't want to hear the real shit no more. I really like Danny Brown's kind of opening punch when he gets into his second verse, where he's like, what do you think is JPEG's like, what do you think is 1993? You can't rap like old school like that. You need, Danny kind of comes in to match his energy and his topic by talking about, like, say it's not about the art, say it's all about the scams. They say it's all about the fans. I give a fuck about the fans. Like, he's like, I just want to do it for the art. and the money. Like, he's like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and the money. And like, I do this to get paid as well. So, you know, it's the duality of like, I really love a bit of a pivot, but it comes into contact with what I'm talking about here. I really love Brackets, the newer hyperpop artist, one I haven't mentioned on the channel yet. And he has a line where he's like, if you do it for the crowd, that's a bad omen, on his most recent album. And I think I agree. Even for these videos and things, I ultimately do it both because I love it and I like the fans around. But I think if you only do artistic things for your audience, then it is a bad omen. I feel like you need to, every piece of art you make, no matter whether it's videos or music or paintings or whatever you do, poetry, you need to do it for yourself first most, and then the audience second most. And if the audience connects with what you say and what you do, then they'll come. And with the engagement I've showed in the channel, you know I care about the audience. But I also think it's respectable to have a clear driven line at some point to be like, I do this for myself. And an audience, like having both sides of the coin can coexist. I know on the internet, a lot of people don't like having a gray area or believing that two ideas can coexist, but they can. At least it feels that way some days. Going on to the fourth track, we're going to be going to Garbage Pail Kids. I love Garbage Pail Kids. I might show a picture of it in this video if I can find them and they look good, decent enough. I collected Garbage Pail Kids cards and stickers growing up. I was that type of kid that was really into like gross horror niche things, which is how I got into weirder music like this growing up. And I honestly believe that this is one of my favorite tracks on the album next to Fentanyl Tester. I didn't think so going to this listen when I was listening for it for this video, but I do firmly believe this is one of my favorite tracks on the album. The guitar and the first like minute or minute and a half or so, when it finally hits over from that opening harsh noise kind of TV sample intro, is insane. I love JPEGMAFIA with guitars, and they really kind of shine through on his newest album, because he got really guitar punk heavy in a few different parts where he's like, the guitar chugs out and he's like, huh! I love that punk rock rap energy JPEG's really bringing to his newer material in 2024, and I really hope we see more of it in the coming, you know, next half a year, whenever he decides to drop again. He's been dropping like about once a year for a good while now, so I'm really hoping we continue to see singles or features or content like this, because that such heavy punk rock, almost screamo rap level energy is just something I haven't seen for years, and I really love it. And this song brings the closest I've seen in this album, at least in this era. Got a harsh intro. The beat's really good. Mostly the guitar is what I'm really focusing on that first minute or two. And then Danny Brown kind of hops on the second side and just rides it out perfectly. And then we get into what was, and still probably is, my favorite track on the album, Fentanyl Tester. Sample heavy song, but you'll learn from me, I'm on the side of I like samples. I like sampling music, especially if you twist it and pivot it in a way that really adds to what you're making and kind of changes the song, changes the context of what I feel about the song for me. And this is still a personal fave. It's a little over 2 minutes long, like 2.5 minutes. I love the editing around the verses when he gets Danny Brown's verse in the second half where he's like, look at me, he's so expensive, and mention all my mentions. I love how it cuts around that, and he really like takes the agility and bounciness of the beat and just matches it beat for beat, because the beat at that point is like really scattering, like, and he jumps out of the verse at one point and he's like, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm the big dog like Marmaduke. Like, he just brings in lines like that. They're so funny and like kind of catch you in a chuckle as you're listening to the album, but then you're like, damn, he's just really flowing, like he's just fucking going. And they're both bringing their A game in this song. Like, this is the pinnacle of a song where I'm like, damn, they both know what they want and went for it. The ending also becomes one of my favorites on the whole album, where they say, I'm pretty sure either JPEG or both of them sample and cut up for the last 40 seconds a remix of my milkshake's bring all the boys to the yard, milkshake, 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 and then it just kind of cuts up and starts like writing out the song. Beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant idea. I think pulling out milkshakes this many years after to cut it up is incredible. Okay, take 2. I'm currently here back at home in the kind of filming space room I was using to kind of talk about some of these reviews and videos. I got reminded as I was getting home. You see back here I have what I was talking about earlier. JPEGMAFIA's All My Heroes Are Cornballs. Probably my second favorite album he's made after the newest album recently. Kind of partnering next to Kanye's first 2 albums, College Dropout and Late Registration, because I just got reminded as I was Googling it coming home recently that Kanye and JPEGMAFIA took a photo together this past year or two, and they're rumored to be making things together, but they just kind of dropped that from what I know. I know from where I dropped off from the review, I was talking about my favorite track on Scaring the Hoes 2023 album, Fentanyl Tester. I think the sampling and the beat work in this one is probably one of the most incredible songs he made in years. Love I just finished off talking about the chopping up the milkshake sample at the very end. I just finished my listen on the way home through getting all the setup and everything. Perfect is pretty good. It's not one of my favorite. It has a good horn beat to it, but it's pretty simple compared to the other tracks on here. The next track is like a duo track, Shut Your Bitch Ass Up and Muddy Water. First part, I don't like as much. I don't like the fat joke that Danny Brown throws out, although the track itself is good enough, or let it ride out and I don't have much other issues with it. Beat's nice, they both flow really good. The second part, Muddy Water, is one of my favorite tracks on the album, and it's only like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes of the track, but it's so good, it rides out so good, and it's such a good switch up. I'll be burning through a few of these in the next coming tracks because they're just not my favorites, but we'll hit 1 or 2 of my favorites for the very end. Orange Juice Jones is pretty good. It's just another one like Garbage Pail Kids where it's just like a strange beat. It's just an odd pick for what's going on at this point in the album, but it's still good. Kingdom Hearts Key, track number 9, featuring Red Veil. I might eventually do a full album review of a Red Veil because I love his approach. He sounds like an early, young Earl Sweatshirt, and Earl Sweatshirt's definitely been doing more weirder, kind of abstract things with his music. It sounds like when he was like really, really hungry and really rapping in like a very textured, detailed type of way, in contrast to like Earl's kind of doing like just it's full-on weird shit. Like Some Rap Songs is a good example of. I saw that album and tour live, but it's just a strange era of Earl Sweatshirt, just a very vibey, heady, smoky type of era for him. The Kingdom Hearts Key is definitely one of my favorites. The first half or two with that very smooth sample, and then it goes into Red Veil's part at the end, where he just kind of like dominates and takes over the song, really makes it his own. Probably has one of the best verses on the album to me, honestly. So highly suggest this track if you don't listen to anything else. This track and Fentanyl Tester is my big 2. Track number 10, God Loves You. Next track, Run the Jewels and Jack Harlow Combo Meal are all pretty good, but still not like my top faves. I think from track number 9 to 12, this is like the most solid stretch of the album to me, outside of the first 4 tracks. It just really all flows together really well. I think it's a little funny, and I mentioned this earlier today to my fiance that they call, like, I think it was Danny Brown, who says, like, we're the new Run the Jewels, and I'm like, no, you're not. Like, this is a good duo, but just not, I wouldn't push it that far yet, buddy. It's a good duo, but it's not at that level. And I think I respect Run the Jewels a lot more for making all their albums free accessibility to any listener, and having like a few pop-up free live shows or like really cheap shows compared to like JPEG and Danny Brown's tours. Like at some points will be like $50 up to $100 something to see a show live. And I'm like making things accessible to listeners and viewers, and making your art more accessible will always be more respectful to me than like really heavy paywalling accessing things and things like that. Like, 'cause I know a few of JPEGMAFIA's albums at this point are depending on the cover, like the cursor covers, and the editions are like up to $100 something or something. So we'll kind of burn through these 3 tracks because I kind of all consider them as they flow kind of the same in each section. And then track number 13, Ho, Heaven on Earth, I think is a great flip on like, they have a lot of religious samples in it, but like kind of just joking around over the beat. Like they're like, she sucked me so hard, praise God, or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's kind of the jokey attitude I thought Danny Brown would bring in this track. JPEG kind of just does his thing, like he's been doing the rest of the album. These past like 2 or 3 tracks, I don't have a lot to say about. The first half is really stronger than me than like the last 2 or 3 songs. Although I like to switch up back and forth in the very last track, Where You Get Your Coke From. I feel like this one's really good and a really good strong outro, just like matching the strong intro. A little longer than the intro, I think like 3.5, 4 minutes, but it's still really good. So I think it opens and ends on a really good like sandwich of an album. And I think I've said this for years with friends, but I don't think I've ever said it openly on the channel yet, that having a good opener and outro is really key to, I think, any album or project, EP or whatever, because bringing someone in and leaving someone off on a good note is always what you want to do. I mean, either one being bad can really leave a bad impression on a listener. Either they start it and it's like it's so bad they don't want to continue the album, or they end it and then one of the last things they remember is a bad song, like the most recent Katy Perry album with Wonder. It like just left on a bad note, and even if there's good songs in it, leaving on a bad note doesn't ever sit well on the audio taste buds, I guess I'll say. I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, I still have kind of the rest of the decorations up back here. Might eventually get a poster or something out here to kind of decorate the filming space. Thank you for sticking around. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share this around to one person you know. Leave a comment what you're listening to, what you thought about this project, if you ever heard a JPEGMAFIA album, or if this sounds like something to be up your alley. Or anything that you want me to cover on the channel. I'll keep saying that in these videos, but I'm still getting recommendations on my shorts and on a few of the main channel videos, so thank you for that. That really helps kind of push along, help me find things I would never heard. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, Kelpies.